Welcome.
Thanks for having me. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Good, man. Appreciate you being.
So before we get started, who was Jamree Kromah before he was a football player?
Shoot, youngest of three boys, grew up in a single parent household. Like early in my life, a lot of things, like a lot of changes happened. Where like my father passed away when I was three, so life shifted for my mother and my brothers, like all of us, where we had to like relocate. And then like growing up in a single parent household, like where a mother had to play both roles, you know, it's on you a lot because, she want the best for you, but she don't want for you to fall into like other traps that a lot of like guys are falling into, which is like being a follower, be on the wrong track. But growing up, one thing my mother told me is like keep God first in anything, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure it's positive and always know like what you have to lose before you get into any sort of like situation. Just think about what you can lose. But it's just having the mindset, like find a way, to make things happen so that you could like better your circumstance and keep things together. But I say as time went on, like the things that my mother was telling me when I was young, I didn't really get it. But I really started to get it when I got older. But I say for my older brothers, since my father passed when I was three,
Mm,
there was more like my father figures. So growing up, always like learned a lot of lessons from them
Yeah,
and like different experience that I went through because of like a huge age gap. But I felt like whenever I needed some type of like knowledge about something, wherever it may be, I know for a fact that they would be there to give me the game necessary for me to better myself.
yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, to have your brothers there to mentor you and guide you as a young adult and developing like athlete, where did you find like the love for football within this journey of growing up with older brothers that guided you?
I started in Maryland. Maryland's where I'm from, more specifically Prince George's County, and from Glenarden, Maryland. Football really started from my older brother. You know, when I was like getting older a little bit, I say like 7 years old, I started seeing him play football for this high school called Parkdale, and he was a wide receiver, star wide receiver, and everything. Didn't really get to see him play defense, but for what I remember, like wide receiver did really well. So going to his first year of college and me going to the third grade at 8 years old, I told my mom that I wanted to play football. I want to play wide receiver just like my brother. But I mean, I played wide receiver at some point in time within my career. But like that's where the passion like came from. That's what really drove me to get started on my football journey. I wanted to be like him, but at the time you don't really know like be better than the person that you look up to. But he
Yeah.
really inspired me, and that was the reason why.
Right. So that's probably where you got all that speed from as a younger age, always running all the routes for your brother.
Yeah, we would play catch. Like when I was younger, my brother would really train me like for like offensive skill positions, and I was getting the hang of it. But I was like a time where like we really bonded. But he always told me like if you really want to like go far with football, like there's a lot of like sacrifices you have to make, like a lot of early mornings and late nights. So just know that hard work.
Wow. I mean, not a lot of guys learn that when they're in third grade. I can promise you that is like way ahead of the game in terms of a lot of people that I've talked to personally. And I mean, probably like half the country. Because when you're in third grade, all you're thinking about is going outside for recess, throwing the ball around, and then going home to play with your friends outside. Not thinking about early mornings, but let's fast forward a little bit to high school. Like, can you walk us through like maybe a typical week during like the highest recruiting time for you as a junior or even a sophomore if you were getting recruited earlier on?
I'll say like going to my senior year, I was a junior at the time, but like getting
Mm.
ready for my senior year, I started like getting offers. But when I popped off my senior year to really show like I'm a way different, better player compared to last year, that's when not teams, but more schools started to recruit me like heavy. And during that time, I was committed to Old Dominion University, and then like other schools like wanted to talk to me, offer me and stuff, and then that's when I flipped to Rutgers. But it was a fun time, being the guy and being the first player in high school history, like for my school to go Division 1, like Power 5.
Wow.
Wow.
a very long time. So that really like set the foundation.
Mm.
But I just went into that year where I know I had a target on my back. I know people are trying to like come for me and stuff and like they're trying to attack me. So I gotta like prove to whatever the situation is that I'm worth it and I'm a dog.
Would would you say that you felt more pressure knowing that you got all these eyes on you now?
It wasn't like pressure, but it's different expectation, because junior year you try to like build, then after like people start to know who you are. There's certain expectations, not say like their expectations, but for a fact like you gotta like keep this thing going because you can't be no bust. If you be a bust, then that's a bad perception to have on yourself from other people and a bad narrative. So try your best to prevent that.
Absolutely. So, you have these expectations you have to uphold and your own goals that you wanna meet your junior year. That's pretty early in terms of, like, being such a young adult. So what were you doing in the gym to differentiate from the year before? Did you have, like, a private coach? Did you have a training program? Like, what were you doing to set yourself aside from everyone else?
I mean, I had a trainer, so I worked with my trainer before my junior year, but I say like after my junior year, that's been like, when you want to be, one thing about it is that for whoever's going to watch this, when you want to be successful, do you have to make sacrifices? Yes. But sometimes you have to be selfish because the path that you take is not for everybody else. So where I'm going with this is where I decided to like work on my training like full time. Being in great communications with my high school coach, the other coaches like the fact that I wasn't attending the team workouts. No, but I say my training because I just really committed to that, like putting a lot of time where it just had me ahead of guys that was like training at the school workouts or people all over the Prince George's County areas. I was just honing into myself and investing more into myself, working with my trainer, have my trainer just like mold me into the player I want to become, very dominant, and it worked out for the best.
I would say that's been a common theme with some of the other athletes we've talked to is where
Yeah,
they find trainers outside of, what the team's doing.
yeah.
But like with doing that, do you feel like that kind of hinders your relationship with your teammates when you're coming back?
No, because like if the guys understand what the situation is, what it is that I want to do, and knowing that we're in great communication, the expectation is for me whenever I be back around the team is okay. He got to show that he's in shape. He got to show he's been working, or else the team is going to look at you and be like, "What have you been doing?"
Right.
So I feel like as long as there's great communication, you always going to meet new people, but it doesn't take long for you to bond with a person. Not say to a high level like it's 1,000%, but it's like, you know, at some point in time you will have to talk to that person where you and that person could be working on the same line or same side of the ball. So that doesn't really matter. It does matter, but it doesn't really matter, especially if you're trying to like get somewhere. And me being a late bloomer, I had to do what was best.
Right. And how did you know that at such an early age you had to get that private trainer and differentiate yourself from everyone else doing the high school workouts and just going to get better but not do the proper things? Like, how did you know to go get a private trainer?
I know for a fact, like, with the goals I had in mind, one thing for sure, I had to gain weight. So I was like 200 pounds, or maybe under 200 pounds that when my junior season ended in high school. By my senior year or going towards my senior year, I ended up being up to like 240 pounds
Oh,
or
wow.
245 max. Yeah. So like high range, I was really like 240, 245, then probably I see like 235 or something. But I had to gain weight, and I feel like the weight program at the school wasn't going to be the same as the weight program my trainer because like we doing more, but it's other things that we doing that apply to certain areas that maybe I'm not going to get if I'm with the doing the school workouts.
Absolutely.
And then at the time, high school guys, young, not say like they like dumb, like they're not intelligent, but they're going to do dumb. Can I cuss on here? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
they do dumb ass shit. You know what I mean? They do
yeah.
dumb ass shit. So it's like I'm not trying to like deal with the bullshit where I'm trying to get somewhere. Oh man, this person did this, person did that. All right, everybody suffers. I didn't have time for that though. I'm like, I gotta go train and do what I had to do because like it was gonna have me be ahead of everybody. But
Yeah.
I say like when I really took it serious going to my senior year, I got a taste of it. What it was like when going to my 10th grade year, when I like did a couple workouts with my trainer, then I go back to the school, I'm like, oh, I'm ahead of guys like work ethic. Like that's why I know like if I stick with it, it all gonna work out for itself.
Yeah. I mean, you realized
Yeah.
at 10th grade, you were doing a little bit of extra work with your trainer, and you were just that much ahead of guys in your grade, so that alone just set yourself up for success to make sure that you were going there every single day. Then you showed up on, preseason camp day, and you realized you were the best guy on the field. I mean, that alone is what sets you apart because those you were talking about, like, doing those little drills, like, little different exercises that no one else was doing. They were going to high school workouts and they were doing compound lifts. They weren't doing sport specific exercises that your trainer had set up for you like exceptionally well. Let's fast forward a little bit. You commit to Rutgers University your senior year of high school after you decommitted from ODU, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you got to Rutgers. When you got to Rutgers, every freshman has this sort of like welcome to sports college moment where they realize they're on a totally different level. What was that moment like for Jamree Kromah? And it could be embarrassing or it could be a surreal moment like a one-handed snag that no one expected.
Well, not really like my real first year, but I say my redshirt freshman year because that's when I started playing. Because like my first year, I was dealing with an injury from high school, so I was like rehabbing most of the season.
Oh, wow.
But I say my first college game, we played UMass. First game I got a sack. Then but the game was like so fast. That was the thing. Like in the practices, like during training camp, things really started to slow down. But the
Mm.
game really fast. I'm getting tired and everything. That one time we did a movement, right? And all I feel is like myself going the other way, but I'm going down to the ground. And then like they played that clip on like on the big screen, like we watch a film as a position group. It looked really bad where I'm just like it looked like I flew.
Oh. Those film sessions are probably the worst, but also the funniest if you're not on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, exactly though. So like when it looked like I flew, man, I was like flying and stuff, man. It was like, God damn, Jam.
Well, you saying you got like pancake?
Yeah, I did. I got, bro. I got.
It's too funny.
That's
Shoot.
awesome.
Yeah, I had a
It
follow-up with
happens,
that.
it happens. That you probably realized you were at that level and, you had some work to do to continuously grow and make it to the next level.
Yeah, definitely though for sure.
Yeah, with that being said, how did your relationship with the game change, entering college from high school? Like, did you approaching the game a different way as far as physically, taking care of yourself in a different way? Like, what was your approach now?
I mean, you can't like from like when you going from going to college from high school, you kind of realize that you can't just rely on your physical talents. You gotta like do the development, that craftsmanship, like work on your craft so you could build, skills. You have the will for everything, but you gotta have the skills so that you could develop and be the player that you could eventually becoming. And also the coaches envision you becoming too. It go both ways. But also like with the game and studying the game and the knowledge of it, that's why I got more into like the mental part of the game, like studying the game, like seeing stuff on tape like pre-snap reads, or like just like learning football. Like football you do like college and the NFL is a whole bunch of classroom because it's more mental, it's physical, and then like knowing situations like I didn't know all these things like in high school. So like when I got to college, first being introduced to it, I'm like, damn, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, but as time went on, that's why I could really see my IQ building up. So I would just say like the mental part of the game, that's the different approach you gotta have.
Did you have a teammate or mentor that kind of helped you see that game or see the game in that kind of way? Or
Yes. My teammate to Rudolph. So got there. He was a year older than me. he's 2 years older than me, but class wise, he was a year ahead of me. But like the way he talked about so many things, like the art of pass rushing and seeing things pre-snap reads, how he approached film and how he watches the tape. I was like being around him more because I feel like the more I be around him, the more I could pick up from this guy that's going to help me. And for me, I was like more athletic and more gifted than him. He had some gifts too, but I was in a whole different level with my gifts. But I just wasn't there yet with the knowledge of the game. So being around him just had me learn like, okay, this is where I'm building the IQ and stuff.
I
Wow.
got you.
That definitely helped you grow throughout like your journey as like a
Yeah.
young guy. So I know you mentioned a lot about like the mental side of the game. So I wanted you to take us like maybe inside your head like, through one of the like the most high pressure moments of your career. It could be at Rutgers, it could be at JMU, it could be in the NFL. Um, what take us through like what's on the line and everyone's watching. What are you seeing?
What am I like? Wait, you said pressure or like what it did that I'm seeing?
Yeah, like, so you're mentally
Yeah.
prepped for the game, so, like, take us through, like, what you are seeing, what you're hearing through one of, like, the biggest high pressure moments of your career.
Yeah, create a picture for us.
Um, I'll say like Rutgers. I'll say more when I had to step up in a big time game against Michigan. This was 2021. So at that time, I'm playing tilt nose guard. I know that sounds crazy, but I was playing tilt nose guard. The starting nose guard, he gets hurt. I mean, no, he didn't get hurt. He hurt somebody, but he ended up getting ejected for targeting. Yeah, he got ejected to targeting, and then when he was out of the game, a lot of people was like, "What is it that we're going to do?" That's the guy that holds it down the middle. So when they found out I had to be I'm next up, some people was like confident in me, but some people was kind of like shaky, like, "Okay, let's see what it is that he's going to do. This is all we have." They didn't score a touchdown the rest of the game. It was whole 3 and outs, and then this is where like, yeah, we're at the big house at that time. Like Michigan, it was hot. So the stadium is packed, it's real loud, and imagine, yeah, you in like I said, 100,000 people. Just imagine you playing a game, you hearing the noise at first, and
Mhm.
everybody is quiet.
The
So
whole stadium was silent.
whole stadium was silent. Did we win the game? No, we lost by a score. It ended up being 20-13, but
Yeah.
they scored 20 points on us in the first half. So when my teammate got ejected the first half, I played the whole game and then they didn't score.
Damn.
So if you say pressure moments right there with Rutgers, they're just like, okay, I gotta show these guys what's up.
Right, right. I mean, you proved all the doubters wrong, and you proved all the guys that were on your back, basically, that you could be trusted to be that guy. Stop the
Yeah,
This
run game, make sure that, no one gets by.
You said this
yeah,
was 2021.
yeah, 2021.
So who's in the backfield at this time? What guys are you going against when you play?
Backfield, Blake Corum. Like I knew what it was going to do. Like also like seeing it for the back sets, and then when back is home, and even like the splits of the old linemen or their communication, I knew exactly what it was going to do. Like just hearing everything. Blake Corum was the running back.
Is this when JJ McCarthy there yet or no?
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah. Was he? I think so. If not, I think so. I think so. If not, then definitely somebody. But it was such
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was this the year they won the national championship?
No, 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 no. This this is like 2 seasons before they won the national championship. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they won in 2023, right? Or
they won for
2024.
the 2023 season, but they won the championship in January of 2024.
Yeah, 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 you're right.
I know like Michigan's always been known to have like a great offense, great O line, and just a
Yeah,
run
great
game
one.
just running it, running down your throat. So I don't know, it sounds like you guys locked it up.
Yeah, we did.
Sounds like Jamree Kromah locked it up. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Definitely the highest pressure moment of, like, your beginning of your career.
yeah,
That's insane.
Rutgers. JMU. Um, I say. Um, I would say UVA, but I will say like that whole season of my second year at JMU, because that's when it's like scouts are talking about you to the coaches, coaches are talking to the scouts about you. So I'm like, I gotta make sure I perform up to par. It like every game is like an interview. So it was some pressure, like, cause it was a new set of expectations compared to the first year.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like I know I'm going to the NFL for sure, but I gotta ball out and play in these games so I can put myself in a great position. But I'll say this specific game for real, I'll say UVA. Balled
UVA.
out. Yeah, when I had like 2 sacks, 3 TFLs, 6 tackles, and I don't know how many QB hits and pressures I had, but dog, like UVA, like we was losing.
Yeah.
We was losing, then we end up coming back, after the storm and we finished the game. But I say like the one defining moment was when I got that game winning sack.
Ended
Yeah.
the game right there.
Take us
It
through
ended the
that
game
last
right
Sealed the
play.
there.
deal.
And I almost got another sack to play after. Yeah, so and then beat UVA, and then like all that pressure that we was feeling or like the expectation, we did it. That put me on a map where more agents are talking to me and more teams are like, talking like staff members, scouts, like, okay, who is this guy from JMU? Yeah.
So what did that process kinda look like when you started to get, like, conversations with different NFL teams?
So they don't talk to you like during the season, like your college football season. They talk to the coaches.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
after
so
this,
like your work ethic.
yeah, but once you declare for the draft, and it goes to these all-star games, that's when they really start to talk to you and really get to know you, like know who you are, so that and they try to see where your intelligence is as a football player, and then what is it? They try to like figure you out. So they like taking down all this information so that when they go back to their respective teams and talk to different staff members, they're like, okay, this is the information I have on Jamree Kromah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
there's a lot that goes into each player. They're scouting you
yeah, it
deeply.
is.
And it's great that you took every single day and every single game like an interview because they could have been at practice, they could have been at a game, they could have been anywhere, and you had to rely on what your coaches said and how you performed. So, I mean, you putting your best effort every single day like a tryout was the best you could have done. I mean, that it obviously has shown. So, that being said, talking a little bit more about coaches, what would you say? I know you've had a lot of great coaches at Rutgers and JMU and now in the NFL. What would you say is the single most impactful piece of advice that a coach has given you?
I'll say like Coach Kuntz. When he talk about situations in life or even in football, he always said like, things happen where in a game mistakes can happen or people can score touchdowns, but also like situations happen like in your own personal life. So the biggest thing that he would say is like, you're never too high, never too low. Like be like water, like be in the middle. Like, don't
Be
let
like
anything get you hot. Don't let anything like, get you cold. Don't anything like change you up in a way that you're like real uncomfortable and like control you can control.
wow.
From Bruce Lee, where it's like be like water.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
just be
yeah.
still.
I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Definitely gotta think more about that. That's sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying like a fuck up during the games, next play mentality.
Next
Don't
play,
let that
yeah, like
happen to you.
cause like we all get frustrated, we get blown like, God damn, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
yo, who let that touchdown? Or like gap integrity, like owning your gap or
Mhm.
a misassignment, those things happen. You get frustrated, you let it out, but at the same time, it's like you gotta control your control and like
Right.
realize like the game is not over
Right.
or like life isn't over. Not
Yeah,
about the end of the
absolutely.
world.
Gotta
Yeah.
focus on the next play.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. I say now to put a twist to it, what's maybe the craziest or like most out of pocket thing you've had a coach say to you or like a teammate that, still resonates with you to this day?
I went through a lot my very last year at Rutgers. Like people was putting me in different positions where I wasn't really growing and getting better as a player.
Yeah.
And my head coach at Rutgers, like he I'm not lying, like he slept on me. Like one time we was doing like, field goal and you go for like fakes and stuff and you throw a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I end up dropping the pass and sometimes like ball would get overthrown or underthrown, but it's like I dropped the pass, I like try like my best to focus and catch it to bring it in. And then once I dropped it, he said on the microphone, like, Jam, keep your day job.
On a microphone at practice?
On a microphone at practice, he's like, yeah, Jam, keep your day job. Keep your day job, Jam.
Nah. No,
I
that's
didn't peep what he was saying, but like
yeah,
somebody told me like what he said, what he literally said on a microphone.
yeah.
I was like, okay, bet. And then when I had that conversation with him that I wanted to transfer and he didn't see me as a deep end, he saw me as a nose guard to play at Rutgers. That's when I'm like, okay, bet. So that was like out of pocket
Yeah.
and also like us at the same times like, okay,
Mhm.
you're doubting me, you sleeping on me. All right, bet. I'm gonna show you how it is. And then, you just let it
Yeah.
be known.
So I'm assuming that fueled you, and you probably started feeling like a little bit of resentment towards your head coach now?
Yeah, because it's like, at the time, like during my last year, I made a lot of sacrifices. It
Mhm.
kept moving from this position, that position. The primary position I wanted to play was defensive end, but they didn't think I could play defensive end. And then you're going to have me play interior D lineman where it's nose guard, where I know for a fact I'm not going to the league for that. I almost believe that the days for me playing defensive end is no longer there. And when I got to the point in time in the season where like guys got suspended and I had to play DN in those practices and stuff, it just gave me that confidence like, oh, I still got it at DN. So like, when I transferred to JMU, I just went in that first year was a vengeance. And Coach Miller, who's the running back coach over there, and he's now the running back coach in Indiana. We have like a lot of talks. I was like, man, I gotta like do this and do that. I'm like, yo, I gotta let these people at Rutgers know what they slept on because this is like personal.
You're right.
And then he said, why are you approaching it like that? I said, because they slept on me. They think I could do this, they think I could do that. He said, you don't have to look at it that way. He said, if you do what you gotta do, which I know you will, one way or another, they're gonna know about it and they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna talk about you when you're not around. So then fast forward to when I my best year at JMU, which was 2023, I went down to Jersey, went down to Rutgers to see some old friends and stuff, because I have relationships over there.
Mhm.
And one of my best friends, he told me, he was like, yo, they be talking about you in the building. I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Like they talk about you, like talk about the seeds that you had,
Mhm.
and your numbers and everything that you put up. Like they talk about you, just let you know." So that just shows like what Coach John Miller was telling me.
That has to be one of the best feelings in the world when you
It
actually
is,
feel like you prove, those people who are down you wrong.
yeah, definitely though.
100%. And it doesn't mean like one coach says you can't do this and you realize that you can. So you go,
Yeah,
you prove them wrong, and you find the coaches that see your value, see you're an asset on the football team. And that's exactly what you did. You went and changed to a great program, a great coaching staff that is now at Indiana University and is a top 20 team. I don't see your, I don't know, he might have changed from Rutgers, but I don't see Rutgers on the top 20, top 25 board every now and then. So, I mean, you made the executive decision and it paid off, obviously.
yeah. I had to take the risk to bet on myself. Like
Absolutely.
I knew for a fact, like, I was going to take a pay cut. Like we ain't get no much money at Rutgers or JMU, but like it was enough for us to pay our rent and stuff. So I know I had to take a pay cut, build relationships with people that I had like a bond with for many many years, and just going to a different spot to start all over. It was tough, and my social life was good, but football it wasn't good, and that was like the main thing. So I had to like take the risk where, okay, get my degree, go somewhere I got 2 years left and turn around my career.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if I didn't do that and I spent another year at Rutgers, it could have been like the same thing. And then I'm going to my final year of college football where it's crunch time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Nothing else
change
matters.
is not easy, and especially when you go into
It's not.
a new team, you take a big risk of a lot of things, relationships, coaches, mentors, everything. And I think the biggest, like, I will say you were one of like the most influential guys in the locker room when I first transferred to JMU because you were going up, you were talking to everyone, and you were making great conversation. I mean, it was like unbelievable what you could just strike up a conversation about. And everyone wanted to talk to Jamree. Like everyone had a great personal relationship with you, and that just goes to show like how much of an impact you made on the field and in the locker room, man. So going a little bit backtracking, let's say you could sit down with your 15-year-old self. You have that dream of playing at the highest level in the NFL, and you can only give yourself one piece of advice about the journey ahead, what would it be?
Don't worry about what people think of you
And why is that?
because when you trying to go somewhere and you got goals and you feel like maybe it's far and then you see other people like working, but you feel like you putting more work in them and like they may say this, they may say that, but you kind of like worry about it. Just you gotta say fuck that shit. Like have the confidence, do what you gotta do because like at some point in time you're gonna separate yourself and where they not doing what they have to do and it like dies down and you're the one that's continuing to push forward, they're gonna be looking at you like, man, I remember you was working, man, like proud of you, keep on doing what you have to do. So I say like, don't worry about what people think of you.
Absolutely. That's a hell of advice. I mean, I wish I knew that when I was younger, because
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
different
They'll question
when
you at first in the moment, then
yeah,
later on, now they're praising you.
yeah,
yeah.
they don't understand until you're winning. That's some great advice.
So who's the toughest quarterback you've gone against and was the hardest to bring down?
In college,
Yes.
um, definitely the one from App State, who's now at I don't know where he at now. Well, Joey Aguilar,
Oh, I think I know you. Yeah,
yeah, the quarterback for App State that beat us at home.
yeah, on college game day.
That was the best quarterback I went against like that year. I feel like maybe not my whole time at JMU or my college career, but definitely that second year, that's something I remember because like it still haunts me to this day about the overtime loss. Cause
Mm.
you know for a fact he did not score. He fumbled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked
But the
like you.
referee was blind. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that still haunts me to this day. Like I don't like to lose. Like I'm a competitor. I like to
Yeah.
win. And I be thinking sometimes like, could I have done things better? Or maybe I'll be thinking like maybe I could have got like a strip sack,
Yeah.
but with speaking about Joey though, like it was like the way he managed the game, like real poise and we try to get back there fast, he getting the ball out fast. And with kind of the taller quarterbacks that got some size to them, you gotta come with a little oomph compared to like quarterbacks that like much more smaller. So I'll say Joey.
Was there a certain play that you just can think of that you were like, damn, I should have had him right here?
did he
Or,
shake you?
yeah, shake you?
No, he wasn't like a guy to like just shake, but he was like, yeah, he was tall, like got some size to him, like kind of tough to bring him down.
Mm,
So I say like one, I should have like a strip sack. Or one, I could have been better with my technique, like tackling. Or I could have just knocked the ball out and had like have like two strip sacks.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say those plays because like you affected the quarterback, have the pressure, have him move off the spot. But
Yeah.
when I look at it, I'm like, I could have just knocked it right there. I didn't have to do all those things.
Hell yeah,
Man, y'all should have won that game, bro. That shit was crazy.
that had to
Bro,
be the
so
craziest
crazy.
game I've
Just,
ever
bruh,
witnessed.
it's just like we undefeated. We up the rankings. College game day, bro. If we won that game, that game was lit. Like, bro, if we won that game, we would have partied after the game, but I don't think we would have partied like that to that kind of magnitude because everybody was like staying out all night for college game day.
Yeah,
Mm,
A lot of people was like, yeah, I'm tired, I'm about to go to sleep and stuff, been out all day. So
Yeah.
who knows? But if we won that game, everybody would have flooded the field. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't have those moments, but I did.
But you didn't
Maybe
get a
like
strip sack. That's why.
yeah, but it was just like just win the game like that. I just flood the field. I wanted to have that moment, bro. But it just didn't happen at like JMU and Bridgeport Stadium, but it happened a little bit at UVA. It did happen
Yeah.
I heard
at
there
UVA.
was more fans at UVA for JMU than the UVA crowd, and it was at UVA home. For those who don't know,
JMU fans are loyal.
yeah,
They ride for you. You
yeah,
gotta think about it. We only like an hour apart though, too now.
right.
So it wasn't really that bad. But that just shows a lot right there with the support and what kind of like athletic program we have. Yeah.
Speaking
Nah,
of
for real.
JMU fans, though, have you ever had like a fan just DM you something crazy?
Crazy like how?
Just
Like
like
out of pocket, like
either like just for messing up or just praising you? Like, what's just like the craziest
Yeah.
thing you've gotten from a fan?
I mean, they talk about so last year is this guy named Lloyd Summerall, right? He was a DN for the 2024 season and he ended up
yeah,
wearing number 9. And then some fans are telling me like, "Hey, man, I hope the guy that's wearing 9 playing DN Lloyd Summerall is like you or even better." So but they're just saying like I hope he better play. He better
Yeah.
play good because like we need somebody that's playing like Jam.
Yeah.
exactly.
But it was fun though, like those 2 years, man, like the funnest 2 years of my college football career was like I'm playing, I'm working my way up to the NFL, like, cause I didn't think that I could like make it to the NFL like when I was at Rutgers. I just felt like it wasn't possible. Like going to college, like, yeah, I want to go to the NFL. But then during the time when you're going through that process when in college, you start questioning yourself if you're going to the NFL, especially like when I was dealing with mental health stuff, injuries where it affected me mentally, and then depression, you just thinking like, is this football stuff for me? For real. So like, like fast forward to JMU, it's like winning, playing, then like college game day, just knowing it's like to like be a consistent like winner, then you getting like hardware for it, like jewelry, like the rings and stuff. It was fun. Like I kind of know what it's like to be a part of a program that was in the building process and be a part of a program that's already built and just continue to keep stacking.
Yeah, 100%. So you mentioned like being mentally tough and struggling with those mental blocks. Like I personally believe there's a huge difference between being mentally tough and just ignoring your mental health. So what does like proactive mental health care look like for Jamree Kromah?
Talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody.
Be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable because it's like it hurts more when you hold it inside and you don't let it out compared to when you're letting it out. So that like relieves the pain, relieves the hurt. But you gotta find somebody that's willing to listen. Somebody that's willing to listen to you and really understand like where you're coming from. Because we could talk to people, but we don't know if they really listening and taking the information that we
Well,
telling them. And just how we work a lot on our like physical like presence or like our physical like physique, our body and stuff.
mhm.
We also gotta work more on the mental health side too, like mental training, but also like these kind of things that's like holding you back to performing like really well physically. It's a lot that goes to it, but I say number one thing is like you gotta talk to somebody, have somebody to talk to because like you never know. They may have gone through the same thing that you went through,
Mhm.
but it could be similar. It all depends on how things shake and turn out to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely think a lot of people need to start talking more. Like, just get someone who will listen and hear you for
Yeah.
what you're trying to say. But who was the person that Jamree Kromah went to have as their support system? If you're open to saying that.
I say family,
Family.
but I did have some like therapists that I want to go like talk to and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the team sports psychologist was
Yeah.
awesome. He was the man. And, like, a lot of colleges are starting to have it more even at, like, Division III, Division II, and smaller Division I schools, like, that is key, especially for any position. Like, getting through that mental block with an
Mm.
injury or school or
Yeah,
just even, like, any issue on the field, that is key. Just
yeah,
having someone who will hear you out.
Mm.
yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, like, coaches shouldn't take that for granted or sleep on that because look at it from a coach's perspective. If you want for your players to be at their best, let them do what they have to do so they can make sure they at their best and not their worst when they perform.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So coaches shouldn't really like take the mental health side like very lightly because you don't know like what some of these kids are going through. They're not going to tell you
Mm.
Yeah. They
because
just think
they
they can
kind
tough
of
it
look
out.
at it, huh?
They just think they can tough it out.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't work all the time because that just hurts you inside. If it's hurting you, why bother to like just do the same thing that you're doing if it's not helping you?
100%.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. I mean, honestly, it starts with, these young men, they got to be brave enough to, take those steps because, honestly, mental health can make or break, and mental health can make it or break an athlete. And some of these
Yeah,
athletes, they're ending their careers in college when, people had their eyes sight on them. They're like, oh, yeah, he's going to be here. He's going to be at the league. He's going to be scoring touchdowns on Sundays. But they couldn't get past, that mental health part of it. And so that's why I find it extremely important.
yeah. And for me, like I do like like I said, we work so much on the physical and we gotta work more on the mental. Like I do some mental performance training stuff. Yeah, just like for like my brain to open up and be activated, or like doing some things like meditation to keep myself like instead of being all the way out here, I'll just be like right here. Uh, but also I say like the another thing too to be feed yourself positivity is the self talks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, back in the day when me and Payne used to joke around, we'd be like, "Oh, Payne, you're him. Jam, nah, you're him." But sometimes you really have to tell yourself, like, "Yo, I am him. Like,
Yeah,
I'm the best. Like, I could do it." Because once you say that to yourself, your body's going to receive that message, and the confidence is going to spread throughout within your system. Where it's like, who's going to mess with me?
absolutely. Absolutely. Self-talk is one of the most powerful tools you can ever master. And
Yeah,
it is sometimes you don't have to, like, say it out loud because someone might think it's the wrong thing, but say it in your mind. Tell yourself
yeah,
you're the best, so
No,
you can
yeah.
go out
I
there
will
and
say like small things like that have such an impact on the team in general
yeah,
because, from my perspective, me and Jam are like we got different scripts. He's working his way to, being an NFL prospect. I'm a walk on. Just trying to find my way on the field. And, I'm still trying to, practice well. Oh, we lost me. Oh, yeah. I'm still trying to be consistent in practice. I got, the mental health aspect that I'm trying to, figure out. And I got Jam, every day he's like, yo, P, you're him. You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that, it helps bring your guys up. And I think
yeah.
Jam's
It
really good with
does. Yeah, because like some guys, like they struggle. There's some guys that struggle with confidence, man. Like. But if you're the guy that's confident, you carry yourself the right way, and then you're the guy that positively affect the guy that's not really confident or not really doesn't really speak positive things to himself, sure, that could bring a guy up like easily, and they could remember that too.
absolutely. Jamree Kromah, thank you so much for joining us on Athlete U podcast, where we have the top college athletes and college coaches share their own experiences of how they made their dreams into reality. And thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man.